On today's show, we're talking about some Dolphins free agent targets, but specifically guys that if you signed right now, they would start this season for Miami. I am Will Scott. Welcome in to Dolphins Today. Some of y'all are going to be mad if I don't say Dolphins fans and name a free agent that Miami could sign. I almost forgot to do the Dolphins fans. That's hard. Name a free agent Miami could sign. Let me know down in the comment section. I think a lot of y'all are going to be saying Dalvin Cook. And yes, if you sign Dalvin Cook today, he would be RB1 tomorrow. There's no question about that. He continues to be linked to Miami. He went on Sirius XM on Thursday and said that he has had some talks with the Dolphins and that he would be, quote, a perfect fit in Miami. And this is no surprise. I think Dalvin Cook wants to be a Dolphin, and I think there's certainly mutual interest there. I think the issue right now is the money. Dalvin wants $10 million per year at least. The Dolphins and I think other teams not willing to give him that. But I think that they'll be able to work something out if they want to get this done. But the Dolphins already have a pretty solid wide receiver room. Your top three backs running back room. Your top three guys in the running back room right now are Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, and Devon Achane in no particular order. I think any one of those guys could emerge as RB1 if you don't sign Dalvin Cook. But if you sign Dalvin Cook, he would be RB1. He has been one of the best running backs in the league over the past half decade or so. You look at that season he had in 2020. He was arguably the best running back in the league that particular season, over 1,500 yards, 16 touchdowns. The last two seasons, the numbers have been really good still, but not as good because he hasn't been fully healthy. Now he's fully healthy. The shoulder's good. He's good to go. I think he could put up massive numbers here during the 2023 season. I think Dalvin Cook's a Dolphin. You heard what he said on the radio the other day. He wants to be a Dolphin, and I think eventually he might be willing to take a little bit less money to go home to Miami. Keep in mind, he is from Miami. He grew up there. He loves the 305. I think that Dalvin Cook will be a Dolphin. And while the Dolphins don't necessarily need Dalvin Cook because of how good that room already is, he makes you a better football team, and he increases your chances at a Super Bowl title. Dalton Risner remains my number one free agent target, and this is obvious in terms of free agents that could start. He would immediately be your starting left guard. We've talked about some other guards here on the channel, but Risner makes the most sense because he has been a high-level left guard now for a long time. Now, he did play under Butch Barry, the new Dolphins offensive line coach in Denver. Apparently, Barry wasn't super well liked in Denver. I don't know if that's led to maybe Risner not being super interested in the Dolphins, but we do know that multiple teams have reached out to Risner. Risner is just taking his time here. Now, the run grade last year was not good, but the pass grade was really good. And I think it's more important to get a guy that can pass block because you want to protect Tua Tagovailoa. Liam Eichenberg's overall grade last year was in the 30s on PFF, one of the worst rated guards. I think Robert Jones, I'd be fine with Robert Jones starting there. But you signing Dalton Risner, that is a huge upgrade for the Dolphins. He could be your starting left guard, and then you have Isaiah Wynn and Austin Jackson compete for the right tackle job. What's your confidence level right now in the Dolphins offensive line? Scale it 1 to 10 down in the comment section. Let me know, what is your confidence level in the Dolphins offensive line right now? Confidence level in the cornerback room is pretty good because he got Jalen Ramsey. You can go get your Jalen Ramsey jerseys right now. Chatsports.com/Ramsey. That link is in the comments and the description of today's show. Chatsports.com/Ramsey. Go and support number 5 by getting your number 5 jersey. This is a name that was not linked to Miami before this week, but has been linked this week. That is DeAndre Hopkins, by far the best wide receiver on the market right now after he was released by Arizona last month. Now, he put up over 700 receiving yards this past season. He missed 8 games of that suspension, still put up over 700 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's not in his prime anymore. He's not the same guy that we saw in Houston, but he is still a really good wide receiver. Now, here's probably why you're not going to sign him. You already have a really good wide receiver room. If you sign D-Hop, and this is wild because he'd be easily wide receiver 1 on a team like New England, he would be your third wide receiver on this football team behind Tyreek and Waddle. But let's say you start Tyreek on the left side, while on the right side, you have DeAndre Hopkins as your starting slot receiver. That would be absolutely wild. Again, he's not the same guy we saw in Houston, but he's still a phenomenal player. I think he's going to be really hungry this year. I think he wants to play for a contender as well. And he visited with the New England Patriots last week. It was a 2-day visit. He was expected to sign. He left without signing. I do not think he's going to sign with New England after that. I don't think he wants to play again for Bill O'Brien. So he might be considering some other teams. Maybe the Dolphins will emerge here. Now, the Dolphins do not need DeAndre Hopkins, right? That's obvious. You have some larger holes on this football team, some bigger needs. You need a left guard. You could use maybe another offensive tackle. You could use a defensive tackle. You don't need another wide receiver. That being said, this Tyreek Hill situation, if it leads to a suspension, then do you go after DeAndre Hopkins? I'm still not sure because you have chosen Anderson. You have Ced Wilson. You have Braxton Berrios. You have Eric Ezukanma. You have a really good wide receiver room. D-Hop would be a lot of fun, and Dalvin has said that he has a lot of interest in teaming up with him. They might be a package deal. I do not see them being a package deal in Miami. Ben Jones, the top center, still available in free agency, and he's become a target, in my opinion, because of the Connor Williams situation. We'll talk about Connor here in a second, but Ben Jones would be really solid here. He has been one of the best centers in the league over the past 5 years. Just 1 sack allowed in 12 games last season. He did miss some time with 2 concussions. So similar to Tagovailoa, he does have that injury history that you're a little bit concerned about. He's a great player, though. And if this Connor Williams holdout continues, now Connor Williams missed OTAs, which was not mandatory. And then he missed minicamp, which was mandatory. He wants a new contract. He was fined nearly $100,000 for missing mandatory minicamp. If this holdout continues, the Dolphins have got to do something at center. You can't have Liam and Keon Smith and other guys taking snaps for Tua during training camp. You might just have to sign Ben Jones and move on from Connor. Pick a center. Type BJ for Ben Jones or type CW for Connor Williams. Let me know down in the comments section. Ben Jones is great. Obviously, the injury history is there. And, give Connor Williams a lot of credit because he showed a lot of progress his first year playing center last year. But I'm hesitant about giving him big money because, number one, he's only played for the Dolphins a year and he's holding out. Don't love the look of that. Number two, he's only played 1 year at his current position. So you normally, when you give an extension, you want to see multiple years of success at that position. I do think a Connor Williams extension will get done, though. We'll have to wait and see. A.J. Cann, we'll talk about another left guard here. A.J. Cann, pretty solid in Houston. One of the more underrated guys that is still available in free agency. He's a veteran, has a lot of experience. His PFF numbers were actually pretty decent last year. Now, I think there's a better option out there in Dalton Risner, but if Dalton Risner does not want to come to the Dolphins and play for Butch Berry again, then maybe A.J. Cann could make sense. I still think you could use a left guard. Liam Eichenberg, apparently he's been showing some progress. That's good to hear. But I still think A.J. Cann would be an upgrade at that position. I don't know if I would start him over Robert Jones. I think Robert Jones is a little bit underrated. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Dolphins News. If the Dolphins sign any of these guys or just make a signing in general, we're going to get you guys a video. Hit that subscribe button below.